had 100 days to defeat 7 Days to Die. Now, this was not a hardcore run, let me just put it like that. I am still relatively new to this game, so there were a few deaths. I originally tried to give myself 1 life every 20 days, and I think I stuck to that pretty well. However, this series is full of killer zombies, killer animals, and then killer mutant zombie animals. So it had it all. Now, the setup was pretty simple. Every 7 days we would have a horde night, with the first 7 days having the minimal amount of zombie, and every 7 days we would then increase the amount of zombies that appeared on a horde night. Other than that, it was very default settings. I will chuck up the settings for you right here. The only setting that changed was the amount of zombies that appeared on a blood moon, aka the horde night. But without further ado, let's jump straight into it. First day began, and we began by wiping the sweat off our brow because we knew we were going to be in for a very tough time. First stages were completing the tutorial. Now, like I had mentioned, I have played this game a little bit before. I wouldn't consider myself an expert, but I know majority of the controls and everything. So we got right into it, crafting our first fiber clothing just to complete the tutorial and get that out of the way so we could go out and explore the world and see what zombies await us. We crafted our first block shape. I was still trying to remember the controls at this point, so it was a little bit, not buggy, but I had some moments where I was trying to figure out what the hell I was doing. Placed the campfire and we were pretty much good to go. All I had to do now was locate a trader. But before that, I did manage to find my first house and break into the side of this building, revealing a working stiff tools box and our first crawler zombie. Obligatory first kill zombie, and cracking open the stiff tools box, we found a sledgehammer. Straight off the bat, we were off to a banger of a start. Going straight into iron, skipping the stone tier and getting our first iron weapon was great. With this, we then decided to finish clearing out the rest of the house of the zombies. Now, mind you, I hadn't put any extra points into any of my stats whatsoever, so every swing of this sledgehammer was taking up about 40 stamina, and as you can see, it absolutely drained me. Not my smartest decision to use a sledgehammer to begin with, but hey, I did manage to survive quite effectively with it, bonking a couple of zombies on the head with it, and managing to make my way through this house. Sneaky bastard did get the better of me and provided me with quite a little bit of a jump scare, but we did manage to clobber him into the ground, and it provided us with our first loot bag. Got our first meds, some shotgun ammo, and some brass knobs, and we finally made our way to the final stash. Checking the car on the way out, I then found my first iron tool, a fire axe. What more could you ask for? I was pretty happy at this stage, so I decided to put some points into my skills, and obviously we had to go for sexual Tyrannosaurus first. Day 2 began, and I was slowly trudging my way to the trader. As I was currently full with an extra 10 slots of inventory, things were slow going. However, that wasn't to say that we were interrupted at all whatsoever by these zombies. These guys are boosted at nighttime, and they do sprint at nighttime, making them very hard to catch and to kill. Now, we made it successfully to the trader and decided to loot everything in his area, because what good soul doesn't do that? I then accepted my first mission because we were going to slam these out of the way in order to get the bike as soon as possible. Because I believe once you completed 7 or so missions, you then got access to a pack of rewards that the trader offered, and one of these can be the bike. So I put down a chest right in front of the traders so that I would know where to go and obviously where all my things were, and we wouldn't have to worry about setting up in a POI. However, this could be my downfall, as obviously I didn't have a base set up. So we went to the first mission location and dealt with the zombies rather quickly. These guys were pretty much a shove over, and we managed to get the pack pretty much by chance. I stumbled upon it, and thankfully it was pretty much just there in front of us. Got the courier satchel, and I made my way back to the trader to hand it in for our first reward. The rest of day 2 was spent wandering around the little town where the trader called home, and I stumbled upon this POI. Now, I had no idea what any of these POIs were like. The reason that I decided to do 100 days for 7 Days to Die was because of Alpha 21. I had not played. I had played during Alpha 20, where there were old POIs and a whole bunch of older systems in place. However, Alpha 21 did bring in a whole bunch of new POIs, and majority of these I hadn't really ever seen before. I did struggle to kill this biker, however, he was in a very annoying position to get to. But after a couple of bonks on the, well, I say a couple, it literally took us like 20 bonks to kill this guy because of his stupid biker's helmet. We finally managed to drop him to the ground and could continue exploring this POI. Now, generally in 7 Days to Die, when you are doing a POI, it's best to follow light sources as they will illuminate the way towards the main loot of the POI. The only downside of this, obviously, is there are a bunch of zombies in the way. So, with the remaining points that I had left in stats, I put the rest into strength and continued on my journey to kill and clear out the rest of this house. Now, utilizing doors to the best of my advantage, I was able to close off most of the zombies and deal with them one by one. However, some blood-raging zombies were able to break down the door and bust free and hit us in their moment of despair. Now, it did hit nighttime while we were in the middle of this POI, and obviously the zombies weren't very happy about me intruding on their personal abode. So I legged it upstairs as quick as I could, trying to find a doorway that I could place a block down, as this would prevent them from busting in. And I almost destroyed the block myself because I went to upgrade it with my axe. However, it was the fire axe, not the actual stone axe, which causes you to break the block. I continued clearing out the zombies located in the bottom of the house. However, this one just would not leave me bloody alone. She really wanted a hug. I think she was lonely. So we opened up our first box located down here, and we actually got bicycle handlebars and an iron pickaxe. This was a banger of a start. Day 3, and we've already got iron tools and an iron weapon. I was pretty happy about that. The only thing lacking at this stage was a gun. Generally, you don't want to be closer to the zombies. You'd much prefer to be further away from them. Just, I was going to say from personal experience, but I can't say that I've had any personal experience with fighting zombies, unfortunately. Well, probably not unfortunately, definitely on the more fortunate side of things, I would say. So after clearing out the rest of the zombies, we finally had access to the main loot located down here in the sewers or dungeon of this house. However, there was still a couple of zombies floating above us that just were a bit stuck up there, struggling to get to. So I obligated them and let them free by breaking their kneecaps and bringing them down to the floor in killing range. Thankfully, they didn't have any issues falling to their death, and we could continue clearing out the rest of the loot located in here, finding a massive stash of ammo in the process. Finish up day 3, I then wandered into a farmhouse, and lo and behold, 3 zombies decided to pay me a visit right as the clock struck 10 o'clock at night, which causes the zombies to bust out into their sprint stage and absolutely decimate me. Obviously, using a sledgehammer, I've got no stamina left to run away, so these guys quickly ran after me, and they were more than able to catch up to me to try and bite me. However, we were able to dispatch of them. I'm not going to say easily, because it wasn't easy, and I was shitting my pants a little bit, I'm not going to lie. But I kind of wanted to seek shelter inside of this house as it seemed the safest spot. So I built myself a little bit of a block and cleared out the room in front of us and decided to stay here for the night. Now, day 4 began, and obviously the zombie was breaking through the doorway, so I had to put it down out of its misery. And it was midnight, so I was like, do we just stay in this room or do I continue searching this house? Unbeknownst to me that this house was absolutely full of zombies, and I decided to shit my pants and run back inside the house. Thankfully, I did manage to find shelter behind one of the doorways. However, me with my miniature brain did not decide to put a block down, and instead of closing the door and keeping it closed, I decided to let zombies in to try and deal with me, while running away and not having any stamina in the process. You know, you love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Thankfully, I was able to dispose of the zombies okay-ishly. That's a word right now. And it turned to daytime just as we found the final room of the zombies, where a bunch of them were going to come out and try and eat me. Thankfully, this apiary barn house area had plenty of spots for us to dodge and weave between so that the zombies could not hit us. This allowed us to play whack-a-mole with their heads, you know. You love a good game of whack-a-mole. See how quick you can pop the beavers' heads open. Beavers? They're not beavers, they're moles. That's why it's called whack-a-mole, CJ. Well done. Thankfully, we did manage to explode the rest of the zombies' heads, and we could move on to the main stash. Now, the main stash had a couple of good things that we could take from it, some pure water as well as some meds. We were hungry, so I was looking for a bit of food, as I obviously hadn't got any food. I don't know why I attacked that mirror for. I think I thought there was a plug behind it, and we could get some more loot. So I busted into the Shamway Foods crate, and lo and behold, our prayers were answered. by a shamway sandwich and 2 ears of corn, which is great. This gave us dysentery, which pretty much causes you to shit yourself. Yeah, I know, not the best way to deal with things during a zombie apocalypse, just running around shit your pants everywhere. Thankfully, we did have a bottle of pure water, so that did help our dysentery just a little bit. Not much, but just a little bit. Busted into the working stiff toolbox and got some shapes, which is great. Now comes to our first wolf attack. Now, this went about as well as you'd expect. Trying to fight off a wolf with a sledgehammer and a wooden club ain't gonna be your best means of dealing with a wild, rabid wolf. So I decided to try and block its path and climb up to a high spot. Little did I know that it would also have the ability to jump over these blocks, you know. Didn't know, well, obviously wolves can jump. They have very powerful legs, but I wasn't expecting it to jump up there and destroy the hay bale that we were on. So I legged it, trying to outrun it while shitting my pants, dealing with fatigue and disease and a sprained leg. And, well, let's just say it didn't go very well. So after that devastating blow, I then went back to retrieve my bag and all my goods. Unfortunately, it was a death. I was doing my best to start this series off without dying. And well, that went well because, you know, we died on day 4, so that's wonderful. Hence why I gave myself 1 life every 20 days because I felt like that was fair and realistic because, like I said, I'm not an expert at this game as of yet. So I found a church and decided to clear out the church before it turned to nighttime and the zombies got super powerful. Now, mind you, we only had about 2.5 days left to actually set up something for our first horde night, and I'm out here still exploring POIs looking for loot. So that should give you a clear indicator of how well things are going for me and how unaware I am of my obvious blight about to hit me. I did find another POI as it turned to nighttime. Hit that 10 PM time, zombies were primed, they were ready to go, they were ready to bite my face off. Thankfully though, I had my trusty sledgehammer and a bit of scrap armor to try and protect me just a little bit from the zombie attacks. I did hold myself up inside this room to try and deal with the zombies located in this house. Thankfully, there was only one going at me at this moment. Now, me being the impatient sod that I am, decided not to wait in that room till it was daytime. No, I figured I'd make my way down into the house, unbeknownst to how many zombies are located down here, try to clear them out and get the main loot and get out of here. We now had 2 days till Horde Night was about to begin, so I more or less so needed to set up a Horde base, but I was still out here searching for loot. Found another loot bag from the zombie and it just had a bunch of materials that we could use later on, but at the moment it had really no purpose for serving us at this time. Thankfully, this construction zombie didn't want to attack us properly and we managed to dodge most of his blows, and then the real amount of zombies came. I pooed my pants a little bit at this point. I didn't have dysentery. This was me sitting on the chair pooping my pants. A bunch of zombies came running out. I thankfully managed to make my way behind the door and upgrade the block to protect myself. But at the same time, there was a zombie breaking in from the doorway located at the top of the stairs here. So I had to be quick at dispatching these zombies so I could deal with the other zombie and not have to worry about fighting on 2 fronts. This guy was being a sneaky bastard, crouching behind the block and hitting me ever so slowly. I got down to 54 health before I finally managed to kill it. And then the spider monkey zombie was dealt with. This POI was a very big POI and I was heavily starting to regret my decision to try and clear this one out. Thankfully, the nurses and Dolores in here helped provide some relief. By smashing their heads in, I was able to refocus to deal with the current threat at hand. Eventually, this POI led me to a sort of a room area, a break room area, I suppose, where we found another biker zombie. Now, these guys are, I believe they're stronger than the standard zombies, but like not stronger than cops. They have the helmet, so they are slightly protected from headshot attacks, but they're not as strong as like the military zombies that should be appearing very shortly. So aiming for headshots provided these guys with a little bit of damage relief, I guess you could say, because they had that helmet on, so they didn't die as quickly. They also awarded slightly more XP. This zombie, he scared the shit out of me. I crapped my pants a little bit when this guy popped up. He did drop a loot bag though, and he had some decent stuff, some beer, some shotgun ammo, and a tea. Cleared out the rest of the bathrooms looking for medical supplies and some water because I had a sprained leg. Literally any time a zombie like licked me, I would get a sprained leg. And here is the military zombie that I was just talking about. Now, I wanted to try and not fight these guys, but I didn't really have much of a choice as they were able to get up the stairs. And I was able to pretty much cross that gap once again. And this would give us that relief that the zombies would not be able to catch me now because I was on the other side. Cleared out the main boxes at the end of this POI for some medicine, some more frames, and some cloth fragments. Love to receive some cloth fragments in the chest. And then I made my way out to the outside of this POI. Now, the keys are a new thing, I think, of POIs, and that unlocked the door. Now, the only issue with unlocking these doors is that you can't close them again. So, you know, if you get swamped by zombies, which, lo and behold, we definitely do get swamped by zombies and a goddamn bear, you can't actually close this door again. It is permanently open and locked. So I got the bear's attention and retreated inside here to try and deal with it. I hope that this bloody works. I don't know if it's going to be able to break through the freaking door. The walls. I don't think it fits through the doorway, thankfully. Oh my god, this is terrifying. And I need to find some damn water. I'm so low on water. Okay, we got it. We got some more zombos coming in though. Day 6 began, and somehow I found myself inside of another POI in the middle of the morning when the zombies are at their strongest. Closed up this hole, chucked my block down, and opened the door to pure nightmare fuel. 2 zombies, full pelt sprint at me. Thankfully, I was able to knock them both down. The power of this sledgehammer is absolutely ridiculous. One of the main reasons why I love the strength build is purely because you get access to use the sledgehammer more effectively with it. Only downside is, once again, it drains you completely of your stamina. Slowly, I made my way towards the main loot stash of this POI, and thankfully it did hit morning time by the time these zombies started coming out of the walls trying to eat me, so they were slower to face me, which is always a massive benefit towards me. Continuing on through the POI, we eventually found the main loot room. However, it is very, very well guarded. I already had an abrasion and there was a dog there.
What the dog
and
doing?
the animals, for some reason, are just so much more of a pain in the ass to deal with than the actual zombies. Heavens forbid you get a zombie animal, which are even worse. You don't want to face one of those guys, trust me. They are absolutely ridiculous. Finally striking it down and cracking open into some of this juicy loot that awaited us right at the end. We got a Hunter's Journal Volume 3 as well as some mods and some medicine. Cracked open the weapons bag and got some extra loot as well. Now, I noticed it was day 6, the middle of day 6, so I decided I should probably get started on a horde base. Now, I was going for a very basic design with this beginner horde base. It was essentially going to be, I don't know what the exact terminology for it is, but it's essentially a tunnel base. Now, take note, I still hadn't received any guns yet. I still hadn't found any guns, which obviously is annoying, but it meant I also had to face them head on with just my melee weaponry. The morning of day 7 finally came around and the base was looking pretty good. I was pretty happy with how it was looking. It did need a few upgrades. I needed some more wood, so I had to chop down some wood through the night. And I did put the first hatch, is that what they call it? Hatch grates. However, I put it down the wrong bloody way. So I had to go ahead and reflip that and set it the right way. And this was the basic gist of this first horde base. Alrighty guys, here we go, our first horde night. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little scared. Here they come. I don't even know if this is the actual horde. I've got one sledgehammer. I'm hoping that what we've done holds up. I should have enough upgrade materials in case things do go wrong. There are a lot of zombies out here. They're still coming. There's still plenty more zombies coming. Thankfully, we did drink that red tea and we did manage to buy a repair kit to repair our sledgehammer. So that's working out great. Oh man, this base. I feel like this is probably the base design we're going to go for, to be honest. It's super easy to maintain. We can expand on it and we can obviously... I don't know about the location. I'm not entirely sold about the location. And the reason I say that is because, yeah, the trader is right there. But goddamn, that freaking alarm bell going off every 10 seconds, every time it opens and closes is super annoying. Put that back up again. All right. And with Frank's death, that was the official end of our first horde night. And so day 8 began, and back out on the rooftop of a POI, I had to deal with all these birds and the nasty zombies that are hiding up here. Thankfully, we did find the main loot stash, but it wasn't really anything good. The blueberry pie was the highlight of that loot stash, and we got to work at dealing with the rest of these zombies located in the gas station. And, well, there was quite a few, more than I was anticipating in this place, and it was coming up to nighttime, so I wanted to clear it out as fast as possible before the 10 p.m. cycle hit, and thankfully we were able to dispose of this zombo right before that 10 o'clock time struck. Thank God for that. However, we still had to deal with a couple of extra zombies up on the roof and a crawler as well. Made my way into the garage down below and found that the door was already broken in from the zombies. Thanks very much, guys. I don't need to use the key now to unlock the door that you so eloquently destroyed. Had to deal with these guys as there were a bunch of them. It was the middle of the night, so they were super strong. When we found our first alpha direwolf. Now, I think it was an alpha direwolf. I don't know. It had the glowing eyes, and it just literally like three-shot us. Come from? I made my way back to the garage, cleared out the rest of the zombies, and got my body bag back. So much for one death every 20 days. I don't remember off the top of my head how many deaths there actually were, but I don't think there were many more. Found the main loot, got the Art of Mining Volume 1, which was great because we were going for that strength build. This would increase, I don't know what the Volume 1 increased, but it definitely was worth getting, I can tell you that much. And we got some bicycle handlebars and a claw hammer. Checked this Mo Power electric vehicle on the way out as well, and got a couple more magazines in the process, which is awesome. The rest of day 9 was filled with chopping of trees. Day 10 began, and we found ourselves at Trader Joel's looking for more missions as I needed some missions to get the bicycle. And I opted to take a clear zombies mission that wasn't too far away. Went into here, cleared the zombies out. They weren't really all that many, to be honest. Thankfully, we were able to bust this guy's kneecap right out of its socket, and he had to crawl along to us, somehow climbing over some invisible barrier thing. And Kenny did die. Frank went down alongside Kenny, and then it was time to face the little whelp, as well as Big Mama, who apparently takes acrobatics classes and knows how to fall from ceilings. Big Mama, obviously always a pain in the butt. Please, I don't want to see.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Always a pain in the butt to try and take down. She's a big, bulky lady. No offense, Mama. And we managed to take her down, get the main loot, complete Trader Joel's mission, and get the hell out of there. When I stumbled upon another farm POI. There was also a very, very sudden explosion, which I did not foresee coming whatsoever. Not gonna lie, pooped my pants a little bit. There's a lot of poop pants in this video, unfortunately, today. So I went ahead, starting to clear out the rest of the zombies. The explosion did cause most of them to start walking towards me. Obviously, I was on their radar after they were rudely interrupted from their slumber by being awoken by a gigantic car explosion. Thankfully, we were able to take them out with relative ease and minor injuries in the process. I managed to make my way to the back of the barn, and there were just more zombies pouring out of this POI when I got ambushed by a goddamn boar. I think he was a bit upset that I was eating his friends behind his back, but Porky Pig here, he was relentless. He was worse than the zombies. I swear to God, the animals are so much more annoying and fearsome than the bloody zombies. Thankfully, Porky went down and we could continue our work, taking out Farmer Pete and the rest of his mob behind him. Then once again, I found myself in a precarious situation with a zombie dog, and like I mentioned, these guys just hit so hard. Thankfully, a couple of swings of the sledgehammer and he was out. I then spent the night disassembling all these beds found in this caravan park and returned to Trader Joel to claim my reward with some 7.62mm ammo. Took my next quest, and it was only a simple fetch quest, as these would be the quickest way to complete his goal and getting the bike. The fetch quest was located at the previous mission we had done, so it was super easy to find the courier satchel. Grabbed it, grabbed the main loot, and then went ahead and returned to Trader Joel. Managed to get an iron shovel in the process as well, which is awesome. And then we took the structural brace mod as well and slotted that into the sledgehammer, taking the next job to clear some zombies, making my way to the pass and gas. I can never say that POI for some reason. Pass and gas? I don't know why. Grabbed the main loot and found myself in another POI in the middle of the night. I've really got to stop this. This is getting ridiculous now. Every single time. It's in the middle of the night. And I didn't want to have a rerun of the direwolf. You know, I had already gone through 2 deaths in under 10 days. I wasn't looking forward to that. So I pillared to the top of the building, grabbed some of the blocks down, and you can see the amount of zombies that were here coming to get me. I did fall, and thankfully I was able to pillar all the way back up, but there were way too many zombies here. So I lit a couple of Molotov bombs and started lobbing them at our zombie friends, hoping that this would be enough to kill them and that they would not be able to reach me up here. They definitely were keen to try, stacking on top of each other's selves to climb up and try to get me. Switching from the Molotovs, I then went onto pipe bombs to finish them off, and thankfully we were able to defeat them all. The morning of day 12 began with me harvesting up a bunch of cement and cobblestone. I made my way to the new mission location, and once again, middle of the night, doing a POI for Trader Joel. Luckily, I found the Cjthecheesedj super quick, and we were able to get the main loot and get the heck out of there without too much drama. However, I found myself in a mechanic's garage on day 13 the next morning, clearing out the zombies here as the main stash of loot was pretty much just around the corner here. You can see it there right behind us. However, to get to it, I did have to deal with these zombies and my lack of stamina, which is a recurring theme throughout this, believe it or not. After dealing with the zombies, we then cracked open the loot, getting more cube frames, a wrench schematic, bicycle handlebars, and an impact bracing mod as well as a book. Returned to Trader Joel, claiming the Hunter's Journal Volume 7 as I wanted to get the books to complete everything. Started my next mission as I was on a rampage to try and get myself that bicycle. Distributed some points in my stats, going for Skull Crusher as well as minus 69er and Motherload as well. I then returned to the hovel that I call a base and started trying to sort out my inventory. Now, I needed some items, so I had to make some duct tape with the glue and cloth that we had so that we can make some forges. These forges would allow us to smelt iron, which would enable us to upgrade more of the base. The morning of day 14 was spent mining the iron located around the base. Now, day 14, you guessed it, another horde night. And what did I decide to do instead? A trader mission. So here I find myself in the middle of a house. It is granted 9:30 in the morning, so I still had quite a bit of time. So I decided to clear this mission out and get it done and get it out of the way. As you can see, we pretty much steamrolled through most of the zombies here, except for poor old Kenny down here. Well, he copped what was coming to him. Grabbed the main loot and got a burning shaft mod, which obviously I had to slot into my sledgehammer, and we successfully returned to Trader Joel with 5 hours left to spare before the horde night began. We had a couple of different options here. I went with the Art of Mining Volume 1, and then horde night began. Now, if you remember correctly, I did say that every horde night will increase with the amount of zombies. So as you can see, it is quite sped up, and there are a number of zombies here getting involved with trying to destroy my base. We were cutting it very close. These guys were able to crawl in between the hatches and the ceiling, so it was a bit dicey, but we did manage to deal with the horde successfully. Or so I thought, until it came time for the morning. Now, I wasn't sure if these were zombies that had just been left behind by the horde or if they were like a separate wandering horde, but we got a second wave of them. Luckily, I had repaired the front, so we were able to defend from 2 hatches back, which obviously provided that protection that we so desperately needed from these guys. And I don't know where they came from, but they just came rampaging up the base towards us to try and obviously eat our brains, because, you know, who doesn't want some juicy brains in their stomach? Continuing on from that, another mission, another culling of zombies, this time in a diner with an outside trash can. We had to clear the area, and there were quite a few of these guys, but thankfully we were able to dispatch them pretty damn quickly. The afternoon of day 15 was spent inside of, I can't remember the actual POI name, but I knew this place had a ton of cement in it, so we spent the rest of the afternoon harvesting up all this cement located in this little factory, and then I found some lucky loot goggles, which is awesome for looting crates and stuff like that, because it does give you a loot bonus. Day 16 began, and with it I had handed in the final mission to get the bicycle. This allowed me to locate a new trader, as well as finally ride on the bicycle. So the morning was spent locating the next trader, and he was located all the way up here in the snowy biome. Now this biome is ridiculously hard and difficult because there are bears, there are wolves, there are cougars, and one cougar in particular decided to aggro on me. So I had to build a stone tower, and I only had a few bullets left to shoot at it with. So I had to shoot at it with those remaining bullets, and unfortunately I couldn't get the headshots and it didn't die from the bullets. So I had to try and hit it with my sledgehammer 3 pillars high in the air. However, thankfully I was able to time my shots and time it with its attacks and hit it while it jumped up at us. Thankfully I had found the trader, but I did have to deal with a couple of little wandering zombies here that were just outside of the trader. Now, because the trader had closed for the night, I had to seek shelter somewhere from the zombies. Obviously, they're going to get their boost. It's nighttime here. We have to try and defend ourselves and find some place to hide. It was freezing. I needed someplace warm to try and set up shelter. So I busted into this house and found a bunch of sleeping zombies here, ready to wake up. I had to dispose of them quickly so that they didn't attack us and damage us because of the nighttime buff that they get. And thankfully, we were able to defeat them with minor injuries. However, some just kept coming from the damn ceiling. So I managed to double headshot both of those guys, and we just did a little bit of looting while we waited for the daytime to roll around. So after camping out in the hovel for the night, I then came up to the second trader Joel and took a look at his missions and what he had going. We had access to tier 2 missions now, and a lot of the POIs in the snow biome were almost exactly the same as the POIs back near our base, which was kind of annoying. I think we got a little bit unlucky with the generation of the map, because I'm pretty sure we had this exact same POI that we did the exact same mission for in our starter town. But it pretty much just began and ended with us clearing out all the zombies, finding the White River supplies in the process as well. Thankfully, well, we did have to go through the entirety of the POI, but we did manage to get here in the end, and this was quite a dancing act. Got the main loot. It wasn't anything really exciting. Pistol Pete was the most exciting thing, and we successfully retrieved the courier satchel, taking him back to clone Joel, and then returning back to base to finish up the day and dropping off all our hard-earned loot. Day 19 began, and I was cycling out into the woods looking for different towns to find so that I could explore them instead of the one located near a house. And I did find an army camp. Now, these army camps are surrounded by mines, but we had received and read a book that allowed us to walk over the mines without them exploding. So you can guess what we did. We took the zombies for a little bit of an excursion into the sky by blowing them up with the mines that were already placed there and continuing to clear out the military camp. Now, obviously with these camps, there's a bunch of military zombies, so these guys are tougher than the standard ones, so we had to go ahead and kill all of these as well in the process, and a couple of radiated. Once all the zombies were dead, I went ahead and claimed the main loot. Nothing really too exciting, a book and a couple of other things. I then spent the rest of the afternoon harvesting up all the dead bodies located around us. Day 20 began, and I was still cycling through the forest looking for a separate town. However, I did find another POI, and this was one of the watchtower POIs where the floor falls underneath you once you get to the top. Thankfully, I was smart enough to realize this, and the floor totally hadn't fallen through before I got up there. And I was able to dispense of the zombies super quick and claim all the rewards inside. We did manage to get a couple of books in here, which was awesome. Love me some tech junkies. And then the worst happened. A wandering horde decided to come through this little POI, and I had to deal with all of them. Thankfully, a few placed headshots with our sledgehammer was able to decapitate and disable most of the zombies. Day 21 came around, and I returned to Trader Joel to sell some stuff from the watchtower. I distributed some points into intellect so that I could hopefully get the advanced engineering skill up, and I spent some time harvesting up some trees in preparation for the Horde Night. I made myself a workbench, and Horde Night finally came around. Thankfully, I did have a double barrel shotgun this time around, so it made things a little bit easier. The morning of day 22, I spent mining up some more cement and cobblestone, as obviously I needed to repair the base. I needed to upgrade the base as well to cement. The zombies were getting tough now, and I needed to combat that. Had to deal with a spider monkey, but he did me a favor and jumped himself right off the ledge. Thank you for that, mate. And we got into the main loot located at this POI. Got some scrap boots, which were better than our one, and I spent the rest of the afternoon and night mining up as much iron as I possibly could. The morning of day 23, I stumbled across this 5-star resort, hotel, drug lord mansion thing. I have no idea. I've never seen this one before in my life. I made my way inside, not knowing what to expect, and lo and behold, we found a gym on the way inside. Now, whoever lived here was having one hell of a party, as there were a large amount of zombies. I made my way across the fancy-ass tennis court to the pool area, and this is where bad things started to happen. Well, we got swarmed by zombies pretty damn quick. Now, majority of these were feral zombies as well, so they had the ability to sprint during the day. Luckily, I did have a double-barrel shotgun and my trusty sledgehammer, so we were able to deal with majority of them. But my luck, the moment that they struck me, I got an abrasion, so that slowed my run speed down, and things got very dicey here. Thankfully, I was able to survive that little onslaught of damage, but we did take quite a few hits. And then a mine exploded out of nowhere. I have no idea. There were just zombies coming out from every angle possible. So I got to work at dispatching the zombies and the dogs. They were slowly breaking through. I don't know why they were attacking that structure and not the actual wood block. Don't care. We managed to finish majority of them off and made our way inside of the house. Now, once again, tons more feral zombies inside of the house. A little bit of twin action going on in here as well, and missing all of these shots of my shotgun. You love to see it. You love to see it. After continuing through the house into day 24, there were a bunch of zombies at the top of a spiral staircase. They were a bit stuck. They couldn't get to us, so I thought I'd give them a helping hand and blast out their legs from underneath them so that they could just topple and fall to me. I continued exploring this big ass house, not knowing. I have never seen this POI before, and it was intricate. And then I eventually found a way into a basement/bunker style thing, and I was like, there are definitely zombies located throughout this entire corridor. I'm not taking any chances, so I went ahead, chucked some blocks down, upgraded them to wood, started popping some hatches in to see what would come out, and lo and behold, a biker zombie did appear. Managed to take him out, and then made our way down the hallway where a couple more zombies came out. I found a little den and disposed of the zombies nearby, activated a switch, which I had no idea what that did, and we found ourselves inside this big ass room. Now, I didn't like where this was going. Thankfully, it wasn't 10 o'clock yet, so we still had a little bit of time to dispose of the zombies before they became super strong. There were a couple of feral big boys and other feral zombies, which was annoying, but we did eventually get into this safe, and we got a steel tools schematic, which is great. We now had the ability to make steel tools. I activated this key rack to see where this led, and it took us inside to a generator room. Now, inside this generator room, there was a little passage back here full of all the zombies waiting to surprise me the moment I came into that room. Mind you as well, this was also the middle of the night, so they were also boosted, and the moment I got attacked by one single attack, I got another abrasion. So I legged it back to the room where we were held up before with the metal door, and I was like, well, this is where I'm going to have to make my defenses now to try and protect myself against these zombies. After those very close calls, I made my way back to the main room and found a bunch of medicine, which I very hastily decided to eat. As well as that, we found a bunch of other boxes, working stiff tool crates and all that sort of stuff. And then we eventually got into the big main chest down here. I had some lockpicks, I thought I'd try my luck, and lo and behold, we managed to get into it and claim the loot within. Now, I'm pretty sure this is the highest tier of loot that you can get, I think. I wasn't entirely sure at the time, and I'm still not sure. Now, I could hear a wolf growl coming from somewhere nearby, and I didn't like the fact that this door did have one of those buzzers. So if we opened it, we could not close it again. Luckily, I did put a block down, and that stopped the wolf from getting in, because this guy was angry. So we went to work killing him, and thankfully we did, and managed to make our way outside of this little laboratory. Now, before I left though, there was something that I forgot. There was another room down the bottom here which had a whole heap of stuff. So I got to work trying to find it, and we found all the weapon cases full of ammunition, as well as a gun safe which was untouched. This was super disappointing. I break into it and I get 64 gunpowder and a bloody knuckle wrap. So, to finish off the day, I made my way back to base and started sorting out all the loot into the crates. Day 26 began and I wanted to do more missions as that would unlock more traders and hopefully more towns with more loot. So we took our mission from Trader Joel and decided to sell a bunch of stuff to him before we headed out. A bunch of parts and some gold nuggets that I didn't need, and then we made our way to the job site. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I'm pretty sure this is the same job that I did in the snow. It's the exact same POI, so we had a pretty good idea of where everything was and didn't really have to worry too much about the threats that were found in here as I was pretty prepared for them. Managed to take out majority of the zombies with ease, and then we made our way into the back of the apiary where all these zombies were, and the White River supplies were located somewhere back here in the barn. I grabbed the main stash. There was another magazine in there which was great and some extra ammunition which we could always use, as well as the satchel, and decided to make my way back to Joel where we had the choice of an iron fire axe, which is the one that we took. Day 27 came around and you guessed it. More jobs, more killing of zombies, more clearing areas, more courier satchels, double shotting a pair of zombies, and absolutely nuking Big Mama in the head. Day 28 came around and I started it by opening some main stash. Now I could just pillar up to this POI main loot because I knew where it was. Now I found this POI on the way back to the base Bob's Boars. Now this is one of my favorite POIs because it's got super corn as well as a bunch of boars for meat. So I made a mental note on my map to come back here. I also wasn't sure if Gracie the giant pig was here. Nonetheless, I returned back to Trader Joel, grabbed another double barrel shotgun, and sold our loot from the previous day of looting. Now, Horde Night was coming up, so I did have to prepare. I needed more storage space, so I had to put more boxes down. An idiot me decided to go and do a job when it was 5:30 in the afternoon on a Horde Night. And, well, you can imagine how well this was going to go for me. Alrighty guys, we might be in a little bit of trouble. Here comes the horde. Oh shit, there's birds. I want to get back to the base first. I'm trying to get back to the base. Oh god, I didn't think this through very well. Why are there so many birds for? Oh god. There are birds. I can hear them. We're in trouble. This is bad. I didn't prepare at all for Horde Night. I didn't even look at it, to be honest. I've completely forgot. Alright, I need some painkillers or something. We're at 60 health. We got ferals by the looks of it. And then a spider monkey zombie decided to pop in and ruin my day. I have no idea where this spider monkey zombie came from. And I panicked and I started whacking at it with my pickaxe. And it was just pretty much GG at this point. And we died once again. So after that disastrous death, I then decided to continue on with my jobs and try to get those complete. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, I did try to limit my dying to once every 20 days, and we had died twice under the 20 days first, and then that was our first death over day 20. Now, for context, I believe there was only one more death through this 100 days, and it is very well and truly into the future, so I hope you can forgive me for dying and continuing this. Nonetheless, it isn't a hardcore 100 days, so I hope I can receive forgiveness from you guys in dying in this game that I'm still not 100% confident in. Nonetheless, we did continue on with clearing out these zombies in multiple job sites. Like I said, I just wanted to try and unlock a new trader so we could try and get a new area, because I was sick of these POIs. Although I did keep finding new POIs that I hadn't done before, which is always great. And we did continue to just blitz through these as quick as I could. I grabbed the White River supplies and then made my way back to the trader. However, it was the middle of the night and I did stumble across a motel POI, and this door was locked, and generally when there's a locked door it means you're not supposed to go that way. So I figured, what the hell, let's break into this door and see what awaits us within. And well, there was a buttload of zombies, which is always a good sign for loot, I guess. We slowly had them coming. I really just, this was a recurring thing. I just continuously did this through the night. Whenever I found a new POI or anything like that, I would always explore it during the night when there'd be a butt ton of zombies. They'd all come rushing out at me and they'd try to eat my brains. Luckily, we were well equipped and we did get into the loot room as well and grab all the loot there. Day 30 began and I decided to start chopping some trees down so that I could start upgrading the horde base, because it was a very dismal base at this stage. I then returned to Trader Joel when he was open, grabbed a new mission, and we went out there and started doing that. And lo and behold, it was the exact same POI that we cleared the last night. So I knew where all the zombies were, and I got to work at dispatching of those guys as quick as possible, because we still had, what, 5 more days before the next horde night. I needed to make sure that I had a decent base up and running for that horde night. So I got to work clearing out of this motel POI, and we claimed ourselves another double barrel shotgun and got access to the next tier of jobs. Nonetheless, I also leveled up and started making my way to the new trader. Eventually, I found myself in a brand spanking new town, and we found Trader Jen. Now, I wanted to see what tier of POIs were around Jen, so I checked out her missions to see what she had available, and it was rather disappointing. She only really had tier 1 and tier 2 missions, so it was kind of sad because we're at the tier 3 stage now. There were a couple of POIs in Jen's town that I decided to just blitz through real quick because I had a rough idea where the main loot was, and thankfully I just broke through a couple of doors and was able to find it with relative ease. And I did find a pump shotgun as well, which was going to be a great boon. And I tell you what, I was pretty much instantly in love with this shotgun. Blasting the zombie dogs' heads in one shot and killing the zombies in one shot is also just so good. I also found a level 5 iron sledgehammer, so we grabbed that and replaced the mods in it with our old one. And then we went to work at looting this Working Stiff Tools shop. Now, I really like this Working Stiff Tools POI because I know it's got a lot of Working Stiff Tools crates, which means lots of tools and stuff like that. But obviously, we had to contend with all the zombies located in here. And once again, middle of the night at midnight, I had the smart idea to go ahead and try and deal with all the zombies. However, there was an abundance of cement, cobblestone, and standard stone. So we mined all of that up until the daytime, where we would be more relatively safe to continue into the back area where all the loot was located. However, there must have been like a mini wandering horde or something like that, because zombies just came pouring out of the store. Mind you, we still hadn't gotten onto the ceiling of the Stiff Tools box place yet, and there was still more zombies there. So we got in, we started getting into work at hacking all these boxes up and claiming all of the juicy loot for ourselves. I did make a quick stop at Trader Jen's just to sell all the loot that we had found and take it back to home, and we were looking pretty solid with the amount of money and ammunition that we had. Made it back to Trader Joel, accepted another mission from him because, well, what else were we really going to do except wait for horde nights? And these were tier 4 POIs, so that meant more loot for us, but it also meant more danger. And as you can see, we came back to this explosive farmhouse once again. We did have to repair the generator at nighttime, so obviously all the zombies are going to be a lot more aggro at us, which, I mean, it's understandable. I'm waking them up from their beauty sleep. But thankfully I did have this pump shotgun, and this absolutely just decimated all of the zombies that came at us. I was pretty happy with how we were progressing in 7 Days to Die at this stage. The only thing that I was lacking was obviously a base. We didn't have the greatest base area to call safety and home and stuff like that, so we definitely had to work on that. But I managed to repair the generator in 2 goes, and that was pretty much the main mission completed. I just had to clear out the rest of the remaining zombies, and thankfully they were provided on the HUD for me, so I could do it relatively safely. After gaining all the loot, I made my way back to Trader Joel. Obviously, more quests, hands them in, get more items, get more gold, sell it, and we can buy more stuff. Took another job, and it was a tier 3 fleet. I apologize, we did only get up to tier 3 at the moment. We do eventually get to tier 4, but that is quite a while away. And got to work at clearing out another POI. Day 34 was here, and it was finally time to work on this very, very dismal thing that we'd call a base. So I didn't scrap, but I moved away from where we had our initial one and just moved a few blocks further south because I wanted to still stay close to the trader, and this area was still relatively flat and central to every location that we had found so far. Now, with the main shape of the base laid out and Horde Night very fastly approaching, which I was once again unaware of, I had to start upgrading some of these structures, otherwise the Horde would just come in and absolutely decimate everything in the vicinity. And then came the Horde Night. Now, I hadn't upgraded everything was still rather weak, so thankfully I could jump to the other side, and this prevented the zombies from being able to chase me, and we set behind our little barricade and started firing our shotgun. Now, the real big downside to using the shotgun here was that it was going to take out our structures on the other side if I missed a shot. You can already see over there that I've got a hole from where I shot with my gun. This wasn't going to go down very smoothly. We had cops coming in as well, and they had the ability to explode, and with our basic structures at tier 1, there was no way that this base wasn't going to take some form of damage tonight. It wasn't a fun time. So after all that effort of spending the last 2 days building the base and not upgrading it, this is what I had left. A couple of cobblestone support pillars, and that was it. It wasn't a fun time. So I grabbed all the loot from the Horde and I set to work about repairing the base. But not before another mini wandering Horde decided to make its way into the ruins of my base, and I had to deal with these suckers as well. So the next few days were spent repairing and rebuilding. Well, rebuilding. I didn't have anything left to repair. The base that was left. And you can see here, this was the design that I was going for here, with the 2 slotted barricade areas. And I was pretty happy with how this was looking. Now, the only downside to this that I found out later was that zombies weren't always going to be split between the 2. As well as that, I didn't really think about putting anything in the pathway of the zombies to the barricade so that we could deter them from going there. But I obviously needed a living area. Now I know, well, I think generally people split their horde bases and their living bases from each other. I was not aware of this at the time, and I mean, I don't know, I didn't even think about it. So I decided to build my main base on the back end of our horde base, as I was obviously going to need a place to store items and get all my crafting stations set up. So I got to work about setting all of that up while also checking Trader Joel, as the shop was starting to refresh and I was starting to accumulate quite a bit of money. Now, I was keeping an eye out for the crucible as well, because that would be our pretty much main source of getting steel bars for this, and steel bars are needed to upgrade a lot of things as well as to make steel tools. So I continued through the night of day 37 to 38 on upgrading and repairing the base. Alrighty guys, here we go. This is Horde base tester, I guess. Another wandering Horde seemed to have wandered through, so it's good to know that I designed it wrong, because I put the rails at the top to stop birds and stuff getting in, but it looks like that they can still jump over those thingies, because I've tried to make it a little bit layered so that way if they do manage to get past the initial barrier, we have a wet place to fall back to, and then we can obviously eventually run out as well, because we've got 2 doors set here on the sides, so we can just run in and out of the base, although these two here look like they're struggling a little bit. Lacking some brain cells by the looks of it. Oh shit, look what we got. Here we go, guys. Horde Night 42. I'm hoping, we got a sledgehammer turret, so I'm hoping that this is going to go well. I've put some things in concrete. We've got as many rounds as I could find for our shotgun. I'm hoping that they're running up the stairs. Here they come. We've got birds coming in as well. I'm glad I made these railings then. Okay. Oh, they're going for this one because it's cement. Because it's the cobblestone, not the concrete. That's okay. We can still hold them off. Yeah, they're not going for that one because we haven't put... I mean, that makes sense. I didn't even think about that because I upgraded all of that to concrete. All right. I'm making pretty quick work of these guys with the shotgun. All right. Looks like the base is holding up. This is going to be the ultimate test. I wish I had made this concrete as well instead. Because I've set up the sledgehammer turret on the other side. We're going to run. We're going to dip. We're going to dip. They managed to break through. I didn't repair the thingy in time. I'm waiting until we hit 4 o'clock and then we'll get off our bike and heal some more. Man, oh man, that was freaking close. Day 43 was spent harvesting up a bunch of resources. I needed to repair the base as well as make some more items through the forge, and that required a lot of stone, a lot of wood, and a lot of cobblestone and cement. Alrighty guys, I'm pretty sure this is the location of the giant boar. So we're going to get into this. We're going to clear out a bunch of zombies, and then I'm pretty sure Grace is under here, and I'm pretty sure that's the end of the POI. Alrighty guys, here we go. Now the only reason I know that we don't die here is because, well, I mean, not to walk on this is because I've done this POI before. We're going to reload our shotgun. I don't know if we can go toe to toe with her. Let's see if this will bring her out. Oh, yep, there she is. Hello, big girl. Alright, let's see if this does any damage to her. Alright, she is one big porky girl. I think she's gotten herself stuck now, so we should... Oh, thank God for that. Oh my God, she's terrifying. I hate trying to fight her. After dealing with the giant mutated boar, I made my way back to the base and continued upgrading the pillars here. Now, I wanted to make sure that I had dug down one spot of the pillars because that would make sure that if the zombies did attack the ground level one, there would be a supporting one to back it up. So I had to make sure that all of the pillars were reinforced into the ground. As well as that, I upgraded majority of the cobblestone areas into cement now that I had quite a bit of it. So I wanted to make sure that all of this was reinforced, because we'd probably start making cops explode when we started doing Horde Nights. However, I made a very fatal mistake here, and that was running out of cement and not actually upgrading our other entrance. Now, for the rest of day 46, I headed back to the cathedral as I had a mission for Joel, and I had to clear the area. Now, this time I actually made my way into the bottom of the cathedral, because I totally missed it the first time we were here. And we got to work at clearing out all of these zombies. Luckily enough, though, they weren't too difficult. Not really any ferals here. I think this was only a tier 3 POI, so we were A-okay.
that chest.
The night of day 46 was used to clear out another job for Trader Joel. We had already done this POI, so I blitzed through it, but we did find an auger schematic at the end in the main loot, which I was pretty happy about. Returned to Trader Joel, claimed ourselves a lever action rifle. We just needed a long range weapon. I thought, why not? And we took another job. Obviously, once again, we were trying to find another trader, and there wasn't really much else you could do. So after doing that, we did go ahead and activate our treasure map and look for some treasure up in the north snow biome. And it took us a little bit to find, but we did eventually find the treasure and bust into it and claim ourselves our first treasure loot. The rest of day 48 was spent doing another job. As well as that, I busted into this cathedral, which is where the job site was. I knew how to get into the main stash, which was in an underground little bunker, and then I just had to bust through the door. So what I did was I went ahead, did that. I broke into the chest, grabbed all the loot out of it. We got a couple of magazines, which was great. We also got some beakers, and then I busted into all of the surrounding boxes, which once again had a couple of magazines and stuff like that. And I just read all of those as well. And then I got an SMG auto turret schematic, which is pretty damn awesome. I hadn't gotten one of those yet, as well as the pressure plate as well. So once that was done, I then went back out, activated the mission, and made my way back through once again, where I came face to face with two spitting cops. Managed to kill them pretty easily. They actually went down super quickly. And then this one just got battered on top of his comrade right there and then. And then this infamous hallway where they all pop out, I just decided to blitz and run straight through it, let them all come out, and then deal with them as they came out and tried to kill me. Now, the cops were a pain in the ass, obviously, and this did lead into a dead end, so I had to be careful and had to deal with them rather efficiently. But I did also have my shotgun, so I wasn't really too worried about having to deal with these guys here. After that, I then busted open the main room, chucked a block down so none of them could get me, and started mowing them down with my sledgehammer. Once again, these guys weren't really too easy. We were at a stage where we were pretty comfortable dealing with copious amounts of zombies if we had obviously sectioned off areas like this, for example, where we could easily just bust through them with our sledgehammer in a box. Once again, made my way to the main loot room and got some more magazines, which is awesome. This is why I did this at the beginning, because when you do a job, it actually resets all of the loot and all the zombies inside. So we essentially got double the loot, and we also got a motorcycle chassis blueprint. Made my way back to Joel, handed in the mission, and I got myself a new bundle of items. Now, here I wasn't really too sure what to grab, but I did take the dart trap set because I figured that would be really useful for the Horde Night. And I also got access to another trader, which I slowly had to find, and they were actually north of the snow. We should start seeing them any second now, I think. Hopefully, maybe. Oh god, I can hear them. Alright, here we go. Horde Night is underway. I don't know if they're going to get pissed off of that. Alright, here they come. Sledgehammer turret actually doing work already. We're just going to have to defend as best as we can. Yeah, that sledge turret is doing great. So eventually what I think I want to try and do is I think I want to try and switch these blocks down beneath us here into plates where we can actually trigger the switches. So this was the final Horde Night before day 50. Obviously day 49 is going to trickle over into day 50. We needed to make it through this night to survive the first half of our 100-day series. And as you can see, there were a butt ton of zombies trying to break through. Luckily, the base did hold up rather decently. The sledgehammer turret definitely doing work. But we did manage to survive the Horde Night rather effectively. The base did take a bit of damage, but nothing that we couldn't really fix in the process. And I went ahead and looted all of the bags around me from the zombies. So the second part of this series continued with day 50 with us beginning to get some treasure chests. I finally got into the treasure chest and we found quite a lot of ammo, which I was super happy about, especially after the Horde Night that had just taken place. Now, I was slowly getting into the steel tier of things, but for that to happen, I actually needed a crucible to chuck in my forge, and these things are notoriously hard to find in my opinion. I've never actually managed to find a crucible out in the wild of POIs. So I decided to hit up some Working Stiff Tools warehouses in hopes that I could hopefully find a bloody crucible out here. And unfortunately, no crucible, and so the hunt continued. Total spoiler, this hunt continued for quite a long time. And the rest of day 51 was spent finding the new trader that we had unlocked from completing all the missions. And guess what? Thankfully, he was totally in the snow again. You love that, don't you? Love to see them in the snow where it's freezing cold. And it luckily was a new trader though, so each trader does have a specific set of items that they sell. Trader Jen obviously sells the medical items. I believe this guy sells weapons. I'm not entirely sure though. And then Trader Joel sells just general goods. But I made it to his shop, handed in the quest, and then he closed. So I got booted out with my bike right in front of his trading hub. So I had to figure out some way to get my bike out of there. The morning of day 52, I spent looting a Working Stiff Tools shop. Once again, these were going to be key to getting a crucible, so I slowly barricaded my way through this garage door to get to the 6 Working Stiff Tool crates located behind it, instead of being the smart one and climbing up to the roof and jumping in through the hole. I just really didn't want to deal with zombies at this stage. The rest of day 52 was spent mining up pretty much anything I could find. Coal, lead, iron. I just started mining everything well into day 53. Now, due to the fact that I'd completed enough missions, I now had access to tier 4 missions from specific traders that had the POIs in their town. So we made our way back to Trader Joel and took on a tier 4 mission. Now, a lot of these POIs are tougher, which is why they are tier 4 POIs. So I was excited to get into some action. Now this POI was the mall strip, and this is pretty much a bunch of shops put together that you have to work your way through. It's about 5 different buildings, and then I think the main loot is located up on the roof of the POI. So it was a lot of effort to get through all of these zombies, and we started getting to work dealing with all the ferals and other zombies located around us. Thankfully, I had my trusty sledgehammer, my trusty shotgun, so that I could deal with anything that came our way. Now, I'd finally found my way to the main stash room here, but it was not uncontested. Now, there was a bear trying to break in through the freaking wall here. Luckily, I had placed a block down earlier, and with my shotgun, I was able to dispose of it very quickly. However, we found ourselves face to face with our first radiated zombie. Now, I hadn't faced these guys before in any playthrough of 7 Days to Die, so that just goes to show how far into this we had made it. Now, I'm pretty sure these guys are the toughest variant of these zombies, and you can see here just how many bloody shotgun pellets it takes to its face before it goes down. It also grants us quite a large amount of XP, which is awesome. And so I got to work looting the various crates and chests located around here. And I also made sure that there weren't any bloody zombies left, because the last thing I wanted to do is get snuck up on while I'm looting some decent treasure. The rest of day 54 was spent getting back home to my base and upgrading my steel tools to a level 5 pickaxe, as well as repairing the base and adding extra walls to it. Day 55 and the morning of day 56 was spent clearing out this hotel from a mission that we received from Trader Joel. This is once again another tier 4 POI, so I was hoping to get some good loot at the end of it, and I had to be quick about this because day 56 was going to be another horde night. I also took apart any extra vending machines that we found, as these would give us steel ingots, and like I said, I still had not found a crucible, so we couldn't make any steel bars or anything like that, so the vending machine is a good source of them, so I had to take apart every single one that I bloody found. I also took apart the beds because I wanted the cloth pipe and springs that you got from them, and we were going to use those to make more tools and weaponry. I finally made it to the basement where all the zombies were located and the main stash was. And as you can see from the red dots on the HUD, there were a lot of these guys down here. However, they were having some issues trying to get to me in my current location. So I pulled out the compound bow and started laying into them as best as I could. But only one of these guys wanted to show up, so I had essentially trapped myself in a room with no zombies coming at me, which is wonderful. After dealing with all the suckers, I then finally managed to get to the main loot and got to work at taking it all up. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get really anything all that amazing from this tier 4 POI. You can tell it's a tier 4 POI though from the chest that's presented to you at the end there. You can see there is a big fancy electronic one. This pretty much, I think these are the maximum tiers of POIs. I don't know if there's a 5th one or not, but I don't actually even remember if I found out if there was a tier 5 POI or not. I got into the main chest and was greeted with a level 5 sledgehammer and some magazines. I was actually super happy about the level 5 sledgehammer turret. Alrighty guys, we're taking a lot of damage right now, but I think we should be able to hold out. I swear to God, I get tapped by one of these guys and I get freaking an injury put on me. It's so annoying. Look at them all. Level 50. It's a new day. They're starting to chill out now. They're not as strong. How did you get over here? Alright. Oh man. Survived another horde night. From day 57 to day 60, I spent the rest of the time upgrading the base and repairing it from the previous horde night, doing a bunch of previously visited POIs to get some more loot and kill some more zombies. I also finally managed to make myself the motorcycle. Day 59, I no longer had to pedal bloody everywhere. I finally had a modded vehicle to get around. This was a godsend. I was so happy that we finally got the motorcycle. Having to trudge everywhere with the bicycle was just an absolute pain in the butt. No longer did I have to worry about stamina, and I could travel a lot faster. And then I made my way into the snow biome to deal with another mission located at the drive-ins. Now this one was a big area that we had to clear a lot of zombies from, but thankfully we were able to do so, and we also found the main loot in the process. Now, majority of these missions are tier 4 POIs, which greatly improves the loot that we should be receiving. However, once again, the main loot was pretty disappointing. Just a bunch of ammo. We did get 26 lockpicks, which I was pretty happy about, but other than that, not really anything exciting. I then returned to the trader to complete the mission when I got given the best reward I had received in a long time, a level 5 pump shotgun. I was super happy about that. From day 61 to 62, I spent the rest of it mining up iron. I was running low of it and I needed a bunch of it. I decided to also test out the auger as I'd crafted one. I just hadn't had a chance to use it, and I don't think I've ever used an auger before in this game. So I gave it a go, and this thing was crazy good. We were able to tear through the ground at an astonishing rate, mining up so much iron. I then went ahead and tried to find some of the treasure on the treasure maps that we had found. With the auger, obviously I was able to demolish through the soil. From using the shovel to the auger, we were able to get through this chest and to it super quickly. In the treasure chest, we got a bunch of money, 12k, plus some ammo, which was awesome. I was really happy with this treasure chest. Alrighty guys, here we go. Horde night is beginning, and once again the dart trap isn't working. Oh shit, I thought I had wired it all up correctly, but nope, apparently not. We could be in very big trouble here. Alright, at least that kind of knocked them off, so like, we can deal with the rest of these. Oh, nope, they're still all up here. Man, we are really pushing this. I got my lucky goggles, my looter goggles on, yep. Alright, let's get into some of their loot, see what we got. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Also not bad. I mean, it's kind of just your random stuff that we get. I'm trying to figure, I think they just attacked foundations because they get angry. Is that possibly why? Now, the very early morning of day 65, I really wanted to figure out how to get this damn dart trap up and running. I had no idea why they weren't working. I've never used electricity before in 7 Days to Die. I had no idea what was going on. So I cutted everything and started from scratch when I could eventually cut the wires, trying to figure out how the hell I used the electronics. Now, I had the wiring tool, I had the dart traps, I had the pressure plate, I had everything I needed, but for some reason, for the life of me, I just could not get these dart traps to work. So I started again from scratch, chucked down a switch. Now, I had watched a couple of videos on this because I genuinely had no idea on what the hell I stuff and had to do. So I hooked up our generator to a switch. Now the switch would activate the pressure plate, and then the pressure plate would The dart traps would trigger when the pressure plate was stepped on. That's what I was going for anyway. Obviously, as the zombies are running up there, they're going to get shot in the face and the legs with dart traps. And obviously I had darts in there as well. So this will definitely help us out on a horde night. I just need to figure out how to get the damn thing to work. So I switched the light switch on and then I proceeded to jump on the dart trap. And finally, it worked. I was super happy. This is going to add extra defense to our base and be invaluable for the horde nights. Ouch. That hurt. I then spent the rest of day 65 mining up this treasure and said a quick goodbye to my bike as it rolled down the hill away from me. It just really didn't like me that much, did it? Finally, I got to the treasure and it was once again well and truly worth it. Some gold nuggets and a bunch of money and ammunition. I was super happy with that. Day 66 was spent taking cars apart as I needed the mechanical and electrical parts that it provided to make more dart traps and more pressure plates for our base. So I got to work and pretty much dismantled every car that I saw. Day 67 and I pretty much spent this day going through the hotel POI once again as it was a mission from Trader Joel. Pretty much just spent the day going through this, taking more beds apart, taking more vending machine apart and hoping for good loot at the end because I still hadn't found a single crucible yet. And in terms of loot, this is what I got from the big chest at the end. Another treasure map, some cash, obviously some ammo, some parts, and some more lockpicks. For day 68, I figured I'd get some of these treasure chest maps out of the way, and we hit up the first one for some decent loot, ammunition, and a robotic sledge turret. As well as that, we also then made our way to another treasure map that we had, and cracked open this bad boy as well, just to see what we would get inside. I wanted to get all the treasure maps off so I could get rid of them out of my quest log. We got a bunch of shotgun ammo, some gold nuggets, and some regular ammo as well in this final chest. I spent the morning of day 69 upgrading the horde base a little bit. I also wanted to stick some more blade traps around the base as well to obviously provide some extra defenses for ourselves. So the blade trap is working. I'm hoping that the dart traps are online. We are set. Oh, this is perfect. This should help us out massively. We've got dart trap above here. We've got a dart trap there. We've got those two firing in at us. This is actually working out super good. As long as the dart traps hold up, we should be fine. That blade trap as well down below is absolutely shredding. I popped these buffs and pills and everything and we're not even taking any damage. Everything looks like it's holding up all right. So after completing that relatively easy horde night, I then went ahead, repaired the rest of the base, and I made my way out to the traders. We're on day 70 now, and we still hadn't found a crucible. So I needed to find a crucible either in a POI, through a trader, doing trader missions, and I figured the best way to do so would be to rank up our traders so that we could get access to tier 5 missions, which would hopefully reward me with a crucible. I had no idea whether or not this would actually be a thing because I don't think I've ever found a crucible before or even found a recipe for one, but I figured this would be my best shot at doing so. And searching for the recipe almost cost me my life while we were out here in the city searching mailboxes. Obviously, the middle of the night because I still haven't learned my lesson from the 4th times that we've decided to go do some looting and hunting during the night, that the zombies are super powered and there's lots of them in this place and the dogs and animals are also super powered. So it wasn't a fun time. Thankfully I was able to survive, however I did get some deep lacerations and an abrasion in the process and still no crucible in the mailboxes. Now, the morning of day 72, I spotted this very tall tower in the distance, and I thought I'd do a little bit of a sneaky. Now, I know there's a POI that was out in Alpha 20 that I believe was the hospital that you could actually pillar to the top and just get the loot. So I figured, why not do the same here and see where it takes us. Now, I knew this wasn't the hospital, but I thought I'd give it a shot and see how well this worked out. Once I got to the roof, I was not prepared for what awaited me. It was not the smartest idea to do this while I had a deep laceration and no backup area to fall back to and defend myself with. Thankfully though, one of the cops decided to help me out and explode in the process, pretty much dealing with the remainder of the zombies and saving me quite a bit of time. And my life at that. Woo! That was terrifying. I finally got into the tier 5 chest, and I was pleasantly surprised at what awaited me within. A auto turret bundle, which I hadn't seen before, was probably the highlight of that. As well as that, we got a bunch of meds, a bunch of ammo, and some bottles of acid as well, which I found very useful. The morning of day 73 was spent at the trader, selling off all the goods we got from our tier 5 POI. From the night of day 73 onwards to day 77, it was spent upgrading the base, placing down turrets, repairing all of the base, as well as doing more trader missions, locating more tier 4 POIs that we could get more loot for in hopes to find a crucible, as well as looking for multiple treasure maps located around the map. I then went ahead and visited all the traders as well to trade with them, as their refresh day was day 76, and once again I was looking for the crucible, but no luck unfortunately, and then the horde night came around on day 77. Alrighty guys, here we go. Horde night again. I want to see, okay, sledgehammer turret's not really doing too much up there. We've got to figure out a better spot for it to go, or I've got to move it. Oh, After Horde Night, I then went ahead and looted all of the zombies. Nothing really amazing, just a couple of bits and pieces that we could sell for the trader. From day 77 through to day 80, not really too much happened. I kind of was just drifting between the traders trying to find a crucible, as that was kind of my next crutch and where I needed to go from here on out. I needed that crucible so I could make steel bars, so I could upgrade the base to the next stage of things, as well as finish up making my tools and steel armor for myself. Unfortunately, however, still no luck finding a crucible when I had the genius idea to do something else. I'm hoping they still come up this way. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to. Alright, good news is they still do. So let's get to work killing all these big boys. Well, that went good. I'm glad to see we came out of that alive. Now I've got to get back into the base without triggering all my traps. So once again, after completing a horde night, we decided to loot all the body bags in hopes for some goodies. Didn't really find anything too amazing, but I spent the next 2 days then repairing and upgrading the base, adding new floorings that would hopefully not get destroyed when we eventually had demolishers come along and cops explode and all that sort of stuff. So we also made some more blade traps as well to put down the bottom there as extra attack damage. The only real memorable things that we did on day 84 and day 85 were digging up some more treasure chests. I did do a couple of POIs, but it wasn't really any decent loot worthy of showing, so we were just kind of doing these treasure maps in hopes that we could find something decent in them. So day 86 came around, and on the morning of, I made my way to the trader and I decided to sell as much as I could because the trader had Grandpa's Forgetting Alexa. Now after selling everything, I had about 70k and I decided to buy a couple extra things. I bought the 4x4 truck accessories as I had the chassis blueprint. All I would need now was to actually make the chassis and I could go ahead and build ourselves the truck. I also bought a vending machine, and then I finally bought Grandpa's Forgetting Alexa. On day 87, I had stumbled into a very large POI that I had not realized at the time. As well as this, it was on the eve of a horde night. So I had to rush through this POI as quick as I could because I really needed to get back to base. And I was super far away from base. This was up where the northern trader is. Super far away. So I had to make my way through this POI as quick as I could to get out of it. And let me tell you, it was a difficult journey. Thankfully, I made it back home in time for the horde night. Alrighty guys, here we go. Next horde night is around, and we already got birds attacking from above. We got what looks like the traps seem to be working. They're absolutely demolishing any zombies that come up. I did try to get another trap alongside that one, but it just didn't want to work for me because we had the trigger plates there. So, whoa. That's the best we could do. You can hear the one down below us as well going. There's two down there now as well. You should have seen us setting them up. Alrighty guys, we just made up a drone.
Powering up. All systems go.
Oh shit. Yo, that actually sounds like Helena.
Great to see you, Master.
Whoa! Alright, I figured about this out a little bit too late. Alrighty, here we go. Let's pop it. Alright, skill points have been reset. So, first off, we want to make sure that we get... I'm just going to take this straight up to level 10. I know that's probably not the smartest idea. And we're going to go advanced engineering. Go boom, 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 boom. Okay. Finally, let's go into that. Finally, we can make 2 crucibles, 1 for each of the forges. We're going to start churning out steel. I just, for the life of me, cannot find the crucible anywhere. It's super frustrating. Hey, look! The crucible! Who said that it would be in the trader now? After obtaining the crucible, not really too much happened over the coming days. We tried to get as much steel cooked up as possible, and that required me to go out farming a bunch of trees and chopping them all down for a bunch of wood for our forges. I also made 2 extra forges, and then I had to go mining for some iron. Iron was obviously a prerequisite for the steel. I obviously should have done this beforehand, before actually getting the crucible, and made sure I had enough iron to actually make the amounts of steel that I needed, but I wasn't that smart. I didn't plan ahead that very well. I also went ahead and upgraded some of the base into steel, as well as making some steel vault doors for our overhead section, and then a mini horde came wandering through, and I thought we'd test out the new steel defenses, and obviously, well, they didn't really last a chance against these new defenses, did they? Now, as well as that, we also traveled out into the desert biome. I finally found a new biome. It took me forever to find, a couple of days, but we did manage to get out here, and out here there was an entire town. We finally found a bookstore, as well as a gentleman's club. That place had a lot of zombies and a lot of loot at the end of it, but thankfully we were able to clear it out rather easily and obtain all the loot at the end. However, upon arriving in this larger town, I did find the Cracker Book Giant Tower. Now, I believe this is a tier 5 POI, and it's a super big POI that you have to get through. And unfortunately, some mistakes were made. Well, that went well. So, day 94. Day 94 we made it to, and look how far we've got to go to get our body back on a bicycle. Far out. That's really unfortunate. Where is it? It's over here somewhere.
Incoming enemies. Prepare for conflict.
Alright guys, we're cutting it super close. We've got like a minute to get ready for Horde Night. I don't know if that's going to be enough time. I have bumped up the difficulty of the Hordes as well to Nightmare difficulty. Before it was on the one before Nightmare, so oh my god, I planted these trees in a very bad spot. I'm hoping that I can get this all done. Oh my god, and it doesn't help that I got a fucking broken leg. That was our first demolisher. Oh my god, that was terrifying. Oh my god, there's more demolishers. We're in trouble. I'm so scared. I'm doing everything in my power not to shoot the button on him. Oh no. It looks like most of our things survived that explosion. That was terrifying. A sledgehammer turret is still trying to work, I think, by the looks of it. It's got to stop them from crawling through like that. I didn't even notice that, and our switches have also been destroyed. Oh my god, that was one hell of a Horde night. The rest of day 96 was spent mining up various resources because I needed to repair the base. All these constant horde nights were not a good recipe for trying to defend the base, so we needed to make sure that we could repair it and to prevent the zombies from getting in and murdering me. Because if I died around this, I would consider it a failure, even though we had already died 4 times through the series. Alrighty guys, we're coming up for another horde night. I am mildly prepared for this. This is going to be the final horde night. Our pressure plates are gone. We've got no steel left. I can't thingy anything. I can't upgrade. Actually, I might be able to upgrade these little things. Yeah. I did put some more railings on the front side of this. I didn't actually realize I could fit more in there. So we've got that hooked up. I've got a switch hooked up onto that singular dart trap there. So when they start come running up, we're just going to switch the flip the switch on is the correct term, and pray that it does some damage, and hopefully we can keep them at bay long enough to survive to day 100. And that's full of darts, by the way. Wait, what the hell? Okay, we may have made a mistake because I think putting 2 structures... Oh no, what have we done? Because we've put 2 structures there, they're not going for that bit. I think that's what's happening. That's not very good. Oh no, this is bad. I don't know if I can defend from this point, to be honest. Not for the whole night anyway. We just have to make it to day 100. Alright, here comes our first demolition. Honestly, just blow up, dude. I don't even care. Blow up, man. Dart trap's still going strong. I think if anything, that helps us out more than... I'm out of resources. I've got no iron left. I just haven't had any time to recuperate. My bloody sledgehammer turret's on the other side. I can't believe I messed up like this. I didn't even think about it having an effect like this. Oh, we're in trouble. You and me both, robot lady. We're just gonna fight from back here. We're not even... Okay, we made it. Day 100, we're here. We've done it. Now we just have to try and survive the night. I don't think I'm gonna make it. Oh god, what have I gotten myself into? Okay, we've got 2 layers of defense, that's it. If one of these cops explodes though, we're screwed, to be honest. And like, the plate's already breaking. Oh, we're gonna have to make a run for it on the bike, I think. I'm gonna have to make a run for it in a second. I'm making a run for it. We can't hold out. Oh no, this isn't good. Bro, are you kidding me right now? Bro, no, not like this. Not like this. Let me out. We're dead. I can't, no. Are you kidding me? Okay, it's hit 4 o'clock. Pop that. Pop everything we have. I'm too scared to turn around. I cannot believe that. Bro, get lost. Come on, stamina. Can't believe I got my bike stuck in the damn ditch. I'm just gonna run here.
Master, we are not alone.
Yeah, shut up. I know that. It's literally horde night. Can I? I thought the traders was protected from the zombies. Okay, apparently not. Let's... Bro, just face tank a fucking cop shot. Close the door, run, hide. Are they in the traders? Yeah, there's a zombie in here. Yeah, Joe? I'm staying with you for a while. Sorry, not sorry. Listen to the dart trap go. Let's see what's left of the base. I can't believe I stuffed up that bad, and because I double layered this bit here, you can see there's 2 sets of rails there. I can't believe that actually made them go for the other side. I didn't even think about that. Alrighty guys, let's take a look at our final stats here. Level 71, game stage 170, 4,000 enemy kills and 4 deaths. Honestly, I was trying to go for 0 deaths. And then I was like, after the first death, I was like, okay, we'll give ourselves 5 deaths, 1 death for every 20 days. And I think I've done pretty damn good if I say so myself. Like I said, still not fully confident with this game and all its ins and outs and stuff. Hell, it took me like 5 days to figure out how to get the bloody dart traps to work. Nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed this 100 days series. Let me know if you'd like to see more of it. There's definitely a modded version of this that I would like to try with Undead Legacy. So let me know if you guys would be keen on seeing that. But other than that, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one.